Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Nitin Joshi, Professor Neurology, with teaching experience of 25 years. Today, we'll discuss resection anastomosis while operating on kidney with significant perirenal scarring and fibrosis. Significant perirenal scarring and fibrosis can be due to repeated episodes of infections, that is pyelonephritis, or due to previous surgery on kidney like pyeloplasty, ureterocalicostomy, or partial nephrectomy or PCNL. Inflammatory process, hence scarring and fibrotic reaction, starts from renal parenchyma and then progresses outwards to involve renal capsule, then perirenal fat, and then the inflammatory process extends to involve anterior and posterior layer of Girota's fascia. After involvement of Girota's fascia, inflammatory and fibrotic reaction extends progressively outwards to involve even pararenal fat, which is also called as extraperitoneal fat. Fibrotic reactions, hence adhesions, then may extend anteriorly from extraperitoneal fat to peritoneum and even intraperitoneal organs. Right as well as left kidney is related to small intestine as well as large intestine. Infromedial aspect of both kidneys are related to coils of small intestine, while infrolateral aspect of right kidney is related to hepatic flexure of colon, and infrolateral aspect of left kidney is related to splenic flexure of colon. The most commonly involved, hence affected segment of bowel in perirenal scarring is ileum. Due to extensive inflammatory reaction, hence adhesions, during mobilization of these adhesions or even mobilization of the intestinal obstruction resulting from significant adhesion, there can be the opening of even the bowel loop, or there can be devitalization of the bowel loop. The site of intestinal obstruction can be found as the intestinal loop, which is proximal to obstruction, will be dilated, while the intestinal loop which is distal to the site of obstruction will be collapsed. So the bowel loop may open, or there may be totally devitalization and non-viable bowel loop which may require resection. During release of adhesions or release of intestinal obstruction, there may be so much of damage that one may require resection anastomosis. And keeping this possibility in mind, while operating on patient with significant perirenal scarring and hence fibrosis, bowel preparation with peg leg 1 day prior to surgery is mandatory. Since resection anastomosis of bowel segment here is for benign condition, mobilization of mesentery right up to root of mesentery is not required. Level of mesenteric mobilization and ligation of blood vessels is decided as per the devitalized segment of bowel loop or pathological segment of bowel loop which is to be removed. For end-to-end, mucosa to mucosa, tension-free anastomosis of bowel loops, the two bowel loops to be anastomosed should be lying close to each other without tension. The most common segment of bowel loop involved in perirenal scarring, what we have seen, is ileum. Ileum is supplied by ileal branches of superior mesenteric artery arising from its left side except the terminal part of ileum. The terminal part of ileum is supplied also by ileal branches of ileocolic artery, which is also a branch of superior mesenteric artery, but it arises from right side of concavity of superior mesenteric artery. Vascular arcades supplying bowel loop are identified by transilluminating the blood vessels by cord light, and the cord light is applied by below the mesentery, that is from below the posterior wall of mesentery, the cord light is applied to identify the blood vessel. Coccus clamps are applied at level of pathology or specimen side, that is part of intestine to be removed. About 2.5 cm distal to pathology, where intestine is healthy, viable with good vascularity, intestinal occlusion clamps are applied. Occlusion clamps are applied obliquely such that antimesenteric border of intestine is excised more, while mesenteric part carrying blood supply is retained more. Between crushing clamps and occlusion clamps, devitalized pathological intestine is sharply excised with knife. During incising this devitalized segment of bowel loop, absorbing gauze pieces are kept below the loop to collect escaping contents. Also, rest of peritoneal cavity and wound protected by moist abdominal packs to protect them from contamination before the process of resection has started. Mesentery is mobilized in inverted V-shaped fashion with wide base towards intestine and apex towards root of mesentery. During mobilization of mesentery, in order to avoid injury to vascular arcades, the vascular branches and arcades are identified after transilluminating with the help of cord light held from below the posterior wall of mesentery. Initially, anterior layer of mesentery is cut. The arterial branches are identified by transilluminating with the help of cord light. The individual branches are dissected with the help of mosquito, ligated with linen or mussel and cut, and followed by incision of posterior layer of mesentery. Mobilization is started by putting mosquito in avascular area in mesentery near intestine, and then gradually it is progressed towards the root of mesentery. The isolated, devitalized pathological bowel loop is excised on both sides with or without milking intestinal contents. The protruding intestinal loops, which are healthy beyond the occlusion clamps, are mopped with betadine pack on either side. The two healthy bowel loops to be anastomosed are brought close to each other without tension for end-to-end anastomosis. In order to stabilize the two bowel loops to be anastomosed, retaining stitches are taken with linen along mesenteric and anti-mesenteric border and kept in position by holding with mosquitoes. Now the main step of two-layer anastomosis of bowel loop. Inner layer is through and through, that is all the layers of bowel from mucosa to serosa, taken with 3-0 vicryl on round body. Here you are taking two 3-0 vicryl sutures in exactly midline, that is middle of posterior wall. With each 3-0 vicryl suture now progressing from middle to either right extreme end, and the second suture from middle to the left extreme of the bowel loop by continuous interlocking suture by keeping distance between two sutures 3 mm, and then these two sutures which have been taken in exactly middle of the posterior bowel loop are tied to each other. At the extreme end of the posterior wall, each 3-0 vicryl is brought out, and then the same posterior suture line is continued as anterior layer by taking cornelling stitches. That is, here the 3-0 vicryl at this stage is outside. Now the suture is taken on the anterior wall where you go from outside in, and on the same wall the from inside out you come out. In short, outside in and inside out on the anterior wall of the bowel, resulting into loop on mucosa, and this is at one end, and the same procedure now is now repeated on the opposite anterior wall at the one end. This is Connelling stitch, which prevents eversion of mucosa, in fact causes inversion of mucosa. The procedure of taking Connelling stitches is continued from both the sides to complete the anterior wall of anastomosis. Of the two-layer anastomosis of bowel, the inner layer is called hemostatic suture as it arrests hemorrhage. Since inner layer penetrates intestinal lumen, it is potentially infected. After completing the inner layer, watch for any oozing, bleeding. If there is any presence of oozing or bleeding, take additional interrupted stitches. The inner layer is invaginated by this outer interrupted Lambert seromuscular stitches taken with 3-0 Mer silk on round body material for serosa to serosa approximation. After anastomosis is completed, wash is given with saline with aseptosyringe. In order to prevent internal herniation, mesenteric trap is closed anteriorly and posteriorly with 3-0 Mer silk interrupted sutures, taking only minimal tissue in the tissue bites so as to prevent injury or occlusion of major vessel. Special attention should be given to mesenteric angle, that is point where the leaves of mesentery separate to enclose the bowel. At this mesenteric angle, there is a small area of gut wall which is uncovered by serosa. This is the site from where leakage may occur, and so one has to pass needle through both leaves of mesentery close to bowel wall. When one requires to perform anastomosis between two bowel loops with unequal lumen, then one should take the what is called as the Chittle's cut in case of small bowel loop, that is giving an cut along antimesenteric border of smaller intestinal loop, or the smaller bowel loop may be cut more obliquely so that its circumference will increase, or the principle of stealing or cheating, that is taking more bowel wall from the larger intestinal loop while taking lesser bowel wall from smaller intestinal loop till both intestinal lumens become equal. Anastomosis may be covered with omentum for additional blood supply and protection for localization of any leakage if leakage occurs. Thank you very much.